Today we're going to do some speed matching, and that's coming right up. Hi, I'm Roy Smith. This is the third in a three-part series about speed matching. If you haven't seen the first two parts, you can go back to them by clicking on the links down below in the description to this video. In parts 1 and 2, I told you about the things I did to prepare my diesel locomotives for speed matching, and how I set up a circle of track on which to do my speed matching. Speed matching isn't a pleasant task. So why do I do it? Because I want to run multiple units at the head of my trains without all of that lurching and grinding that can occur when locomotives aren't speed matched. I've already warmed up the motors of the two units that I'm going to speed match today because warm motors run differently from cold motors, and that can affect the process of speed matching. I want to remind you that I'm no expert on speed matching. I'm learning as I go, and I'm grateful to those of you who have explained how to do it on the internet and on YouTube. I will be doing my speed matching on a circle of track this time, and I hope that will make it easier than the methods I've used in the past. Also, as you will see, I will be using JMRI to help me do this speed matching, although you could change the CVs in your throttle rather than using JMRI if you want to. In JMRI, I could use either the basic speed control pane or the speed table pane. I'm going to use the basic speed control pane because I want this process to be as simple as possible. Besides, here's what JMRI says about the two. It says, unless you want to get into some precision speed matching, you probably won't need to use the speed tables. You'll be able to accomplish much of what you want just using start volts, mid volts, and max volts. So I will be working with basic speed control. In effect, I will be entering new values for CVs 2, 5, and 6, which control the speed of the locomotives where it says start, mid, and max volts. With that, let's get started. I've already put the two locomotives in consist because we will have to run them together simultaneously on the circle of track. The first thing we have to do is determine which of the two runs faster. The faster locomotive will become our lead locomotive, and we will not be changing the start, mid, and max speeds in it. Instead, we will be increasing or decreasing the speed values in the rear locomotive so that its speed matches the speed of the lead locomotive as closely as possible. It's pretty easy to see which is the faster and which is the slower. We will be adjusting the speed settings for the slower one. We want it to run as closely as possible to the speed of the faster one. I'm putting a small piece of tape on the slower one. This is the one for which we will increase or decrease the values of voltage in JMRI. Now I open up my locomotive roster in JMRI and select number 5530, which is the slower of the two locomotives. Then I click on Program on Main and Program. This takes me to the roster page for 5530, and there I will choose Basic Speed Control, where I will be adjusting the values of start, max, and mid speed. I have already determined the start speed is the same for both locomotives. That is, they both start at the same time and both run at the same speed on speed step 1 of the throttle. So I won't have to change the start speed for 5530. So instead I will go to max speed next. I turn my throttle up to its highest setting. I will leave it set there on speed step 126 throughout the adjustments that I am about to make. And pretty quickly the distance between the two locomotives shortens. As you can see, I need to increase the value of max speed on 5530 so that it doesn't fall so far behind the lead locomotive, number 5475. And that's what I'm doing now. That's better, but I have to increase the value of max speed of 5530 even more. I continue to make adjustments over and over. There, I think that's about as good as we're going to get with max speed. So let's move on to mid speed. I will be turning my throttle down to speed step 63 for changing the value of mid speed. And I will leave it set there on 63 until I'm finished making adjustments to the mid speed for 5530. And once again, it quickly becomes apparent that I need to increase the mid speed value for 5530. That's what I will be doing repeatedly until I'm more or less satisfied that the two diesels are running at about the same mid speed. There, I guess that will have to do. If I can't run the rear locomotive at exactly the same speed as the lead locomotive, then it would be better if the rear locomotive runs in a slower speed than the lead locomotive so that it's not constantly pushing and shoving the lead locomotive. Now I run the two diesels closely together at various speeds to see if they remain pretty much the same distance apart. And it seems that they are. Then I couple them together and run them at various speeds to look for any pushing and shoving. And I listen for any grinding. They may not run perfectly together, but that's probably as closely matched as I can get them to be. You could spend hours trying to match each pair of locomotives perfectly, if you're a perfectionist like me. And even after all of that, they probably still won't run together at exactly the same speed. It can be very frustrating and time-consuming. In fact, speed matching can be worse than wiring, ballasting, or track cleaning. You could try matching them perfectly like I do, or you could just decide that close enough is good enough. Well, that is how I'm doing my speed matching. I still have 4 pairs of diesels to speed match, but I will be doing that off camera. Now let's see how the two that I've already matched work at the head of a train. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it yet. And be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, happy railroading. I'm Roy Smith, and I will see you again very soon.